Welcome to this podcast for National Schools Training, ILM Diploma Level 4, School Business Management Qualification. The topic area is Managing Finance in Schools. I'm looking at Module 1, the Principle of Financial Management. The purpose of the podcast is to provide a brief insight into how a school business manager has to lead in this area. The learning materials for this unit states that as a school business manager, you will be the gatekeeper for the financial practices of the organisation. You will ensure that there is compliance with legal regulations and ethical requirements, management of financial risk, achievement for value for money and best value. You will support your school's educational priorities and goals through the budget and financial information provided, and have consideration of innovative approaches to income raising and resource management. This means that you will have to have extensive and detailed knowledge and understanding of financial regulations. When convincing others of the need to follow procedures, it is helpful to explain why it is necessary to do things in a certain way. As a school business manager, it is important that you are aware of the current guidelines either from your local authority financial procedures or the Academy handbook. It is then essential that you follow current guidance and you can explain to staff why it is important. You may also need to evaluate and update procedures in school. It is important that any changes to current policy are communicated and staff understand the reasons. It is important that budget holders understand their responsibility to adhere to financial regulations. The module looks extensively at probity, and by this we mean the quality of having strong moral principles, honesty and decency. As a school business manager, it is essential that the way you conduct yourself reflects these principles. You must also ensure that your team's behaviour supports this as well. As a cluster school business manager, an area that I get frequently asked about is the one of ordering and purchasing, and more specifically about staff making unauthorised purchases. By unauthorised, I mean those where there has not been prior agreement or an official order made. This can be staff making unplanned purchases while they go about their personal life and expect that the school will be able to reimburse them. These items are usually of low value, and this approach often happens as historically it's been accepted. This can be problematic as staff do not necessarily have authorisation to spend the budget, but also purchases may not be value for money and VAT will not be able to be reclaimed as the school has not made the purchase. The title of goods does not belong to the school either, which make any guarantee essentially worthless. These issues may have to be measured against having some flexibility with regard to genuine savings and the ability to buy an inspiring resource. However, as schools are able to have purchasing cards and then can buy purchase items using the internet, such flexibility should not really be required. Another area that can arise is when staff who may be the budget holder order goods but for whatever reason do not ensure that a purchase requisition or order is raised. This can mean that the first time the finance officer and school business manager know about the goods and the commitment to expenditure is when the goods or the invoices arrive. It is important that official orders are made for goods, as the orders should state the terms and conditions of the order placement, and then the supplier then has to accept them if they wish to supply the goods to the school. And also the commitment to the budget can be accurately recorded, providing a true financial position. This ensures that expenditure is controlled. It is important also because cash flow can only be accurately predicted if commitments to purchases are known. To ensure transparency and avoid misunderstanding, I have implemented an ordering policy within my schools. It highlights that value for money should be obtained, and wherever possible, purchases should be planned and cluster discounts be obtained if possible. There is the need to avoid extravagance. Also, it states that orders need to be raised for all purchases and only be made if the purchases can be afforded. Staff do not make ad hoc purchases and ask for reimbursement. Another issue that I'm asked about is segregation of duties. This is critical to effective internal control. It reduces the risk of both erroneous and inappropriate actions. Segregation of duties is a deterrent to fraud because it requires collusion with another person to undertake a fraudulent act. It also assists with reducing errors. Ideally, no member of staff should be responsible for both validating and processing a transaction. For example, certifying that goods have been received and making payment for them. There needs to be strictly limited access to systems for authorising and making payments. This can be difficult in small schools, and it usually means that one of the payment signatories has undertaken all of the tasks prior to authorising payment. If this is the case, the head teacher or other authorising signatory needs to be particularly vigilant and understand the need to and reasons for being so. Wherever possible, another person should check the receipt of goods. This concludes my podcast.